Okay, what's up, YouTube? This is part 2. And before I go into the information, I want to show you what YouTube just did. What I did was I had used a clip from this guy right here, Godfrey. He was talking about Jesus, right? I had used a clip of what he was saying about Jesus and things like that, right? And he was saying that Jesus was a dark-skinned dude, right? So what they did was, and as soon as I put the video up, they sent me this email. Talking about, due to a copyright claim, your video has been blocked. This means that your video can only be played on YouTube, blah, 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 blah. Title, December 13th. Copyright content, Godfrey, okay. Claimed by complex networks and affiliates. So, right here, this is the video right here. And they say block worldwide. But, he is the one, Vlad TV, not Vlad, DJ Vlad, his platform is the one who interviewed this dude and the information's out there. So why would they block me? You know what I'm saying? Why would they do that to my channel, my information? It's not just what he's saying, it's other shit I had in there that they don't like. So now what I'm about to do is do another video. I don't have to use him. You all can type this on your own. Type in Godfrey Speaks on Jesus. You can watch the video. He talks about this stuff. And we're going to continue further on into what did Jesus look like? What do historians say he truly looked like? So, I'm going to post this description in my this blog, blackarabia.blogspot, in my description box. Okay, so you can read this on your own, right? So, it says here that, now, Popular Mechanics magazine says, from the first time Christian children settled into Sunday school classrooms, an image of Jesus Christ is etched into their minds. In North America, he is most often depicted as both taller than his disciples, lean with long, flowing, light brown hair, fair skin, and light-colored eyes. Familiar though this image may be, it is inherently flawed. Okay? A person with these features and physical bearing would have looked very different from everyone else in the region where Jesus lived and ministered. Popular Mechanics magazine. You see that? You see that? This is a Popular magazine. Popular Mechanics magazine is saying that that image of white boy Jesus is bullshit. That's what they're truly saying. You know what I'm saying? So now we're about to get into the meat of the things and show you through history what did Jesus and his buddies and his mama look like. Okay? Now we're gonna be coming from. Now I want you to keep this in mind. The twa, the pygmy, the pygmy, right? And we're gonna show you here before we go into what he looked like. Okay? We're going to go into this. We're going to show you. Okay. Let's put this to the side real quick. Okay. So we all know this. We all know about this. The Stonehenge of England. The Stonehenge. We always see this. Stonehenge. Okay. We always see Stonehenge, right? And we always trying to figure out who built these Stonehenges. Okay? Now, it says Stonehenge is a prehistoric monument. Now, remember, whenever you see the word prehistoric, this is predating white people. They were nowhere around when this stuff was being built. Okay? Now, remember, they're only 6,000 to 4,000 years old. So, ain't nowhere in hell that they built these Stonehenges. So, who built them? So let's use their own archaeological scientists and see who built these Stonehenges. Through radiocarbon dating. They say radiocarbon dating suggests that the first blue stones were raised between 2400 and 2200 BC. So right here, this already excludes white folks building this. Okay? They're excluded. So who built it? Who built these Stonehenges? These big ass blocks. Set these up. Let's go. So-called European architecture, including castles, originate from Africans. Now this is in the book Black Out Through Whitewash, right? It says so-called European architecture, castles, arches, cathedrals, the capital, Parthenon, etc. originated from African architecture, fortresses, arches, temples, mosques, obelisks, etc. The Washington Monument is an African obelisk, origin of church steeples. The veranda was brought to America from Africa in colonial times and greatly impacted architecture in the southern U.S. Africans carved large complex buildings, churches, and temples from massive solid rocks or sides of mountains. To date, how these mighty pyramids were constructed is still a mystery to, quote, modern engineers. The stones used for their construction weigh some 50 tons. They are so well fitted you cannot push a business card between their joints. It says black people built the ancient megalithic structures around the world, particularly throughout the black South Pacific Islands. Listen to this. The most famous example is Stonehenge, built by, quote, small anthropoid people, pygmies, that is. This is well documented by two European authors, David McRitchie, he wrote The Testimony of Tradition, and Gerald Macy, who exhaustively explored the Nile Valley origins of British culture in the first volume of his book, The Book of Beginnings. You see that? So, if you want to know who built these Stonehenges, the Twa built it. And in here, they tell you how they built it. Okay? I believe it's not in this book. It's either in the Testimony of Tradition or the Book of Beginnings. One of these two I saw, I read it with how they built it. Okay? Now, like I said, now keep this in mind. The Twa. Keep this in mind, the Twa people, right? The Twa, they call them pygmies, but the white men call them pygmies, but they're really the Twa people. They're the oldest race, right? And then when you go here to one second. When you go here like when you go here to the African origin of humanity and the albinos look like white people. All races were born from the black race, reports Western science. Science reports that everyone alive today descended from an African woman who lived 200,000 years ago, but we predate 200,000 years. Based on the evidence of recent findings, modern white science has officially declared that all of present humanity came from one race, the black race, the oldest race. Throughout the world, prominent magazines have done front-page articles on, quote, the most incredible find of all times. Scientists have unearthed the ancient bones of a black African pygmy Twa woman who was indisputably the mother of all humanity. You see that? Now, we're going to go here into the book, The Messiah Jesus, John the Baptist. We're going to get into what he looked like. Okay? Now, what I want to do is, I want to go here. It's not be a long drawn out video, but you see this YouTube just blocked my video worldwide. Worldwide. Okay? Okay, now, it says, first doubts about the authenticity of the testimony of Flavius Josephus, of Flavia, right? We're talking about Josephus' accounts. So it says that the genuineness of the precious jewel has been admitted only in circles wholly admitted by the church. The beautiful testimony has somehow never made an impression on the Jews. although they too certainly knew it well. When medieval Christian scholars taunted them with the argument that the Jewish historian Josephus, whose work they possessed and held in high honor, had freely admitted that Jesus was the Messiah, they stubbornly replied, as we may gather from certain pages of Guidallus Cambrinus, that this testimony was not found in their own Hebrew manuscripts of the author. The Christians would then retort that the Jews had erased the passage from their manuscripts, and such manuscripts showing manifest erasers or erasings were indeed not wanting below, were not wanting, and were repeatedly pointed out to the Jews to show that it was they who were in error. Now, let's go into what did he look like. Let's go into what he looked like. So on page I'm going here. We're gonna go into what it looked like. What did Mary look like? I told you to keep the toi in mind. I'm going to show you. So it says that on page 414, since the L or cubit in most systems is equivalent to 1.5 feet, will give us a height of a foot. Will give us height of 4.5 feet, considerably below average. If with G.F. Hill, where we follow the statements of Julian of Ascalon concerning the measures in use to the Byzantine province of Palestine, and assume that the cubit is the royal cubit of the Egyptian system, that is a little more than 19 inches. The total would be about 54 inches. And if instead we adopt the simple L, the total will amount to about 54 inches, truly a pygmy height. Okay? Now, I ain't talking about these things, right? Okay? And then, if we drop down here, it says, to these documents must be added a number of Syrian testimonies collected and admirably commented upon by Dr. Rendell Harris. It says, in the first place, there is a statement in the passage of Ephraim Cyrus, right? And the footnotes are down here. 320 AD to 379 AD, corresponding to the above quoted Greek authority about the measurement of 3 L's. It says, quote, God took human form and appeared in a form of 3 human L's. He came down to us a small statue. So what is 3 human L's? What is 3 L's? 3 L's. Measurement. What is 3 L's? Or three cubits. And we want cubit to what? Inches. Or meters, let me see. Foot. Okay. So 3 cubits is 4.5 inches. 4 feet 5 inches. 4 feet 5 inches. So, let's keep on going. So it says that God took human form and appeared in the form of 3 human L's. We just seen that 3 human L's or 3 cubits is 4 feet 5 inches. In another treatise of Ephraim, extant only in Armenian, we read, our Lord came, he appeared unto us as a small man of stature. Similarly, we are told in the hymn entitled The King Manifestation by Theodore Mephistia, preserved only in Syriac, thy appearance, O Christ, was smaller than that of the children of Jacob, i.e., smaller than that of the other Israelites. The most important piece of evidence, however, which we owe to Dr. Harris, hails from the Syrian Acts of Thomas, in which the Apostle Thomas constantly appears as a twin brother of Jesus, and so closely resembling him as to be mistaken for him. In these circumstances, the following paragraphs is of the highest importance. It says here that the apostle lifted up his eyes and saw people raised upon one another, that they might see him, and going up to lofty places. And the apostle saith to them, Ye men who are come to the assembly of the Messiah, men who wish to believe in Jesus, or Yahshua, whatever name you want to give him, okay, take unto yourselves an example from this, that if ye do not raise yourselves up, ye cannot see me, who am little. Dr. Harris has rightly observed that the quote double of Jesus' smaller stature is here thought of as in the same position as Jesus in Luke, and as giving a spiritual interpretation of the relation between Christ and those who wish to see him. The author of these acts must therefore have understood the Lucan passage to mean he sought to see Jesus, and could not for the crowd, because he, i.e. Jesus, not Zacchaeus, was of little stature. The recovered text of Josephus now confirms that interpretation. There is no doubt that the author of the Acts of Thomas believed Jesus and his twin brother Jude to have been both exceedingly small. You see that? So in a footnote here, in 7, it says that this is the reason why Jesus speaks of himself as the smallest in the kingdom of God. Okay? Now, let's go over here. And it says that Andrew of Crete, okay, knows of an image of the mother of Jesus in Lydda, from which he deduces that Mary too was no more than 3 ells high. Therefore, it says there must therefore have been a tradition that the whole family of Jesus was extremely short of stature. So that means that Jesus, the disciples, Joseph, his family, were twiles, were pygmies, were these people. They were the twiles. This is facts. Now, how are you going to debunk this shit? Let's look them up. The twice, the little people. So they say that Christ was short. He was a short. Their family was short. Their family was short people. Okay? This is facts. See the white man standing next to the twice, the little people. So you got the Tutsi, the Hutu, and the Twa. Jesus was like this tall, 4 feet 5 inches. He's coming up to like dude's shoulders. His family was short. You want images of the Twa? Look, the pygmies, look them up. Now let's go to what Josephus said. I'm going to cut my video off. Okay, so the Messiah Jesus, description of Jesus. Now, you can read this, a little bit of this on the post I'm going to post on Black Arabia, right? And it says here that, will the real Jesus please stand up? In 1931, Austrian Jewish biblical scholar and art historian Robert Easler published a classic in Josephus scholarship, his Messiah Jesus and John the Baptist, book I'm reading now, It says, through a meticulous analysis of extant manuscripts, easily endeavored to restore the original reading of the first century text that discusses John the Baptist and Jesus and the early Christians. The first century source is the Heliosis or Capture of Jerusalem of Josephus, 37 to 100 CE. Originally written in Aramaic, a Greek rewriting was published around 72 CE. This is an important text for the discussion of Christian origins, particularly given the section therein treating the true human form of Jesus and his wonderful works. Josephus, the first century Jewish historian, is believed to have access to official Roman records on which he based his history of the earliest Jesus movement. He is thus a singularly contemporary witness. His text passed through Christian scribal hands, during which process the text will no doubt alter. Some offensive passages were omitted, and some Christian embellishments interpolated. Okay? So he's quoting this book that I'm reading now, that's out of print. Okay? Now, Josephus says, now this is a description of Jesus. Right? And here's the restructured original text, and here's the Christian alterations. So Josephus says, at that time there also appeared a certain man of magic power, if it is meet to call him a man, whom certain Greeks call a son of a god, but his disciples the true prophet, who was supposed to have raised dead persons and to have cured all diseases. Both his nature and his form were human, for he was a man of simple appearance, mature age, dark skin. Okay, it says dark skin, short growth, 3 cubits tall, hunchback with a long face, a long nose, eyebrows meeting above the nose, that the spectators could take fright, with scanty hair, but having a line in the middle of the head after the fashion of the Nazarenes, and with an underdeveloped beard. It says only his outer appearance was superhuman, for he wrought surprising and striking features. Again, however, in view of his common physique, I should not call him an angel, but everything he did through some invisible power, he did through his word and a phrase of command. He claimed to be. Others said that he was our first lawgiver, resuscitated from the dead and accomplishing many cures and magic tricks. But others said that he had been sent by God. Listen to this. But in many things he opposed the law, and did not keep the Sabbath after the manners of our fathers. He himself did nothing shameful, and did not put his hand thereto, but through his word he prepared everything, etc. You see that? So it says that Jesus didn't keep the Sabbath. He didn't keep the law. But in many things he opposed the law, and did not keep the Sabbath after the manner of our fathers. So you have people that's professing to be a follower of Jesus Christ. It's saying that Jesus didn't follow. He didn't keep the law. Now, I got something. I'm just reading the information. Using the information and I'm reading the information and using my imagination, because at the end of the day, nobody was there. Nobody in this day and age was not there back then to witness what happened. Nobody. Okay? All right? So, just showing you. Okay, let's keep on going here. So it says that in the remarkable image of Jesus, a short, humpbacked black man with a unibrow, shortly kinky hair, with a part in the middle of nappy hair beard would have made the Passion of Christ profoundly different experience for undoubted viewers. That this basic description goes back to Josephus is affirmed by a number of early Christian ecclesiastes such as Andreas, Archbishop of Crete, 8th century, and John Damascus. Most The details of this description are found in other Christian literature of an even earlier period. As T.W. Doane quote says, in the first years, the Christian church fancied its Lord's vices or face and form marred more than those of other men, and that he must have had no attraction of personal beauty. Justin Marchi, 150 A.D., speaks of him as without beauty or attractiveness and of mean appearance. Clement of Alexandria, 200 A.D., describes him as of an uninviting appearance and almost repulsive. Tertullian, 200 A.D., says that he had not even ordinary human beauty, far less heavenly. Origen went so far as to say he was small in body and deformed, as well as a lowborn, and that his only beauty was in his soul and life. You see that? Now, I'm going to post this link in my description box, okay? And it says here that, let's see here. They did a reconstruction of ancient Israelite skulls, right? And they were saying, well, this is what Christ would have looked like back in the day. Okay? Give me 1 second. Okay? To like they even did the same thing to Muhammad. They whitewashed his ass. Muhammad was a black dude. Let's see here. Okay, so like right here. So it says like the letter of the Tulip is evidently a fiction, right? The letter of Tulip is fiction, as easily points out. This tall, ruddy, blue-eyed, hair Christ is a direct answer to that short, black-skinned, short-haired Jesus of the Heliosis. The obvious intention of this pious fraud was to replace this description of Jesus, so offensive to the later Christians and hence deleted, by another more edifying pen portrait. Okay? So this says that the letter of Tullus, the trial of Turin, that's all bullshit. That this white man that went through trial and error, leaps and bounds, to give you the true, accurate description of what Jesus Christ looked like. Okay? Like here, on page 20. It says, it also follows that the text of Josephus was tampered with by Christian forgers in the matter of the chronology of the governor's greatest and Pilate. The sole reason for this forgery was to obtain a valid argument against the genuineness of the acta published by Maximinus in 311 A.D. A further consequence, of course, is a general presumption that the text of the Jewish historian Flavius Josephus has certainly not been handed down to us in its original integrity, but has suffered from the interference of Christian scribes and revisers. But this white man that went through leaps and bounds to reconstruct what Josephus' works had went under, and he gave you the true historical description of what Christ looked like. He was a black twa, pygmy. It says remarkable scientific evidence developed 3/4 of a century after Easter wrote have confirmed the correctness of this restored description of Jesus. In the December 2002 issue of the scientific magazine, Popular Mechanics, the cover story ran, "The Real Face of Jesus. Forensic Science Reveals the True Image of Jesus." Science writer Michael Phelan reports on the truth of the applications of the new science, forensic anthropology, to the search for the historical Jesus. British forensic scientists and Israeli archaeologists collaborated to recreate the most accurate image of the Nazarene prophet to date. Based on the data obtained from this multidisciplinary approach, Richard Neve, retired medical artist from the London University of Manchester, created a multi-image of a dark-skinned Jesus. The data, for the most part, is uncannily consistent with easily restored description. Michael Phelan writes, Jesus would have had dark rather than light-colored eyes. In keeping with Jewish tradition, he was bearded as well. While most religious artists have put long hair on Christ, most biblical scholars believe that it was probably short with light curls. With tight curls. From an analysis of skeletal remains, archaeologists have firmly established that the average build of a Shemitic male at the time of Jesus was 5 feet 1 inch, with an average weight of about 110 pounds. Since Jesus worked outside as a carpenter until about he was 30 years old, his face was probably weather-beaten, which would have made him appear older. The image of the dark and swarthy Middle Eastern man emerges, right? So I'm going to post this in my description box. Jesus Christ, your Jesus Christ in the Bible, who you believe in, who you say is the God of the universe, is a twat, is a pygmy. That's facts. If you believe that Christ came down in human form, took on flesh and blood as God, well, you got to accept the fact that he's a twat, he's a pygmy. So it says that the same way he left is the same way he's going to come back. He's not going to look any different than what he looked before when he left this earth. Okay, that's facts. Now, how are you going to debunk that? Okay? So like I said, I'm going to post this in my description box. I'm showing you Popular Mechanics magazine saying that the white boy Jesus is bullshit. You see YouTube just block my video worldwide. Worldwide. You know what I'm saying? Because I use a little skit from this dude. Because Godfrey, he's saying that Jesus was a black person. But you know how YouTube do. I ain't tripping on them. I ain't tripping on them. It's all good. It is what it is. Okay? So, this is part 2. To racist boy dash 3 man said Jesus is a nigger. Now you see that YouTube blocked my video worldwide. So, with that being said, I say peace to you. Click subscribe. I just broke down to you that quick that you're what Jesus looked like in the Bible. The historicity of Jesus, what Jesus would have looked like when he walked this earth. How tall was he? What was his family like? What was his disciples like? They were small people. They were no taller than 5 inches. 5 feet, 1 inch. Okay? This is facts. So with that being said, I say peace. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for listening and watching.